This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Domain.com.
What are you celebrating?
No more Emily.
She's gone.
We get to sleep safely again.
What do you mean gone?
We tricked her into moving back to Florida.
Well, clearly we're not in Florida, so when she gets there and realizes that, isn't she just gonna be pissed?
I'm coming back for Josh and Bruno. You tell him I'm coming, Ryan. You tell him I'm coming. And vengeance is my co-pilot. You hear me? Vengeance is my co-pilot.
Okay, I'll tell him. Can you pick me up a slushie on your way back?
Yeah, no problem. A slushy and vengeance are my co-pilots.
Now's not the time for fear. That comes later.
Somebody gonna get that?
Answer the door.
Hello?
Answer the door, Ryan. Oh, hey, Em.
Step aside.
Where's my slushie?
Who wants some?
Of my slushie?
Bring it on!
Cover me.
You devil child!
I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Well, try it!
Happy to. Watch for ricochet.
What? Oh God, Bruno, get down! No!
I'm unarmed. I surrender. Truce, Emily? Truce?
Sorry, pal. I have one bullet left, and it has your name on it.
No, it doesn't. Come on!
I got no fight with you, monkey. Good shooting, Ryan.
I didn't shoot anything.
Good thinking. Better keep your hands clean. You go back to work. I'll clean this place up.
Where's my slushie? Ah! Like I would shoot you with it! Could you
Logo.
Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques. Going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and today I'm talking about this. Because some dude was like, hey bro, show me some stuff. It's not actually what the email said. His was well written, but long, and I didn't really feel like reading it. Bumper. So today we are going to crack open my fanny pack fun with the slow-mo gunshot, which I call my Zack Snyder shot because he shoots slow motion-ness and often. Is that funny? Okay, so we have talked about how to pull off fake high-speed slow motion on the show before, in this episode actually, and in that episode I show how to take a regular DSLR and get your own super slow-mo goodness, but that is not how I did this shot today. This was a halvesies shot. I shot at a much higher frame rate than usual, so it was actually high speed, just not as high speed as I made it seem. Shall I explain? No! So first of all, and yes, this is an advantage, I currently have the Red Epic in my possession on loan, again from the gear god Eric Kessler. We have it right now because we are shooting a new episode for the web series I'm producing with him called Pimp Your Productions, which, this new episode, I gotta say, gonna be a ridiculous amount of epicness.
What in the world was that?
That's a word, trust me. Look it up later. Don't look it up, just trust me. It's going to be epic. I mean, I don't want to come right out and say we rented a jet, but we rented a jet. So go sub to the channel here if you want to know when that comes out. But any balls, back on track. So I shot this bullet shootingness at 300 frames per second, which is really slow already. This slow, in fact. But still not the speed I am wanting. So with the shot already high speed, I have a ton of leverage with a plugin.
That's
like,
not how you say that.
well, leverage or leverage. It's in a movie. I can't remember which. Pirates of the Caribbean. He says, never mind. Anyway, I have a lot of leverage with a plugin like Twixtor to really slow this thing down a lot, which I am not going to show how to use Twixtor here since I already did that in this episode here. Yeah, you're a little bit. So now with the shot Twixtified, we have this. Looks nutritious, but still not done. Next, I need to add my muzzle flash. Problem is, I don't have a slow-mo muzzle flash, and I don't have the time to create one since this is on a short deadline. So instead, I once again bust out my Action Essential pack from Video Copilot. Then I grabbed 5 muzzle flashes that were pretty similar to each other. Next, I brought said flashes into After Effects and then lined them up one frame after the other. Now I scaled the first one down to seem like it's just a light in the barrel, then increase the scale with each new flash until I get to the 5th and last one at its full size. It basically is like a stop motion animation type mindset going on here. With all of them placed, you get this. A slow-mo muzzle flash. Now I also added a layer of smoke, which I also got from Action Essentials. To that one, I just added time remapping to slow it down a bit, which I also talk about in this episode right here. Now, a quick break, and then we'll talk about how we did the resties. If you're setting up a website, say to start a business, I don't know, maybe you want to blogify about movies, movie making, or whatever you want to blog about, domain.com is the place to go. Domain.com makes it easy to set up your domain name and get your website up and running. You can blog, create a website, make some dollar bills, get a personal email address up and going. There is a ton that you can do, and you can get 15% off your domain name and web hosting when you use the coupon code FilmRiot when you're checking out at domain.com. So don't forget, use the coupon code FilmRiot, and when you think domain names, think domain.com.
Logo.
Okay, so the final thing to add here, and the one that sells the effect the most, is the shell casing flying through the air. This was totally and completely thanks to Element 3D. I've mentioned this plugin on the show before and have expressed how excited I am about it, and here's one example why. And this is a very tiny example too. You could do much bigger things with this, but this is actually a 3D shell that comes with one of the bundles that they sell. This one, actually. So here's how I did it. First, add a solid, then apply element to said solid, and click Scene Setup. This will open Element 3D's interface. It feels very similar to optical flare, so I found it pretty easy to navigate, but I am on a mission. So I come over here where I have all the model presets, go into weapons, find the shell I fancy, click, and my selection comes up over here. Now, there is tons that you can do at this point, but for our purposes today, we're just gonna keep it super simple. First thing I will do is change the environment. If you click here, you can see the default environment, which won't match our shot at all. So I will click environment up here, then select the one that most closely matches my shot, then okay, and okay. And now the bullet is in my scene and comically large. So open group 1, then particle look. I'll drop my size to around 19.19, looks right I'd say. Then position it where it would be in the gun by moving it down and then twirling open rotation and adjusting the X and Y. Next, I will set a position keyframe for the layer that element is on at the point where the shell should be leaving the chamber. Then I'll move to the end of my sequence here and pull the shell up to the top of the frame. Next, I will set a keyframe for the X and Y inside rotation, which will start at the point where the shell leaves the chamber. And again, I'll move to the end of the shot and spin the crap out of that shell, which this will take some finessing to get it how you want it. I also did a search on YouTube to find a reference of a real shell leaving the chamber in real high-speed slow motion. I was able to find a few clips that were about 1,000 frames per second, which was around about the type of vibe I was going for. Next, I'll add a bit of color correction to the bullet layer, turn on motion blur, and move to my final step, which is covering the bullet until it leaves the chamber. To do this, I will duplicate my footage layer, bring it to the top, and mask around the slide. Next, I'll go frame by frame, keyframing my mask to follow the slide until the shell is clear of the gun. And with that final step complete, we have... Now, I want to get into Element a lot more. We're definitely going to be exploring this plugin a lot coming very soon. I am just so extremely impressed by the capabilities of this bad boy. It is truly groundbreaking, and I do not throw that phrase around lightly, my friends. And no, I don't get paid for saying this. It's just that effing good. Also, I know I'm bound to hear a lot of complaints about using a red cam. Here's the deal. If you want a shot like this, you may need to rent a camera with the capabilities to shoot a bit faster than 60 frames per second. It doesn't have to be an epic. There's a few new Sony cams that will shoot around that, and there are even decently cheap cameras that can shoot up to 120 frames per second. Just do a bit of a Google search, see what rental houses are in your area, and there you go. Well, alrighty peeps, that's the whole dealio for today. I do plan on getting into some real high-speed slow motion pretty soon. It'll be a little bit of a collaboration action. Should be fun. That should be coming pretty soon. But I'm hoping that I gave you a few ideas of things that you could try on your own. And if I did, feel free to send your finished shot over to my Twitter, right here. I'd love to check it out. But that's it, friends. I'll see you next week when I realize there is no spoon. Bring it on!
Oh my god. I'm gonna collapse.
I can't believe how long you just